Today I'll be showing you a deck that took 6 years to produce. It launched as a Kickstarter project with 1,800 backers, which is huge, and has artwork so intense that one of the readers said that it triggered some post-traumatic memories. But it also has one of the most beautiful artwork I've ever seen in tarot. Hi, welcome back. This is Jay with Lubanko Tarot, where I bring you weekly tarot and oracle deck reviews to inspire your readings, with the help of Dr. Kotnik over there, who is feeling particularly artistic today and wearing a red beret.
Oh.
The deck I'll be showing you today is the Lubanko Tarot, created by Emily Lubanko, which now went mass market globally, and it's one of the most beautiful decks I have seen, but it's got some issues. Let's have a look at this together. The deck comes in a beautiful box. It's got one of the cards displayed here, and this is, if I remember correctly, the Seven of Cups with illusions here. Some information about the deck and some examples here. I like how they did a bit of the embossed, or we'll say high gloss highlight of the cards here, and they did the same here with a label on top, or the name of a deck on top. And inside, the got this quote from Lubanko and the guidebook. The guidebook is a beautiful quality. It's 240 pages and high gloss. It's got colored print, and it's basically every card. And it's probably one of the best quality guidebooks that I have seen. We'll have a look at it when we do a test read with this deck. The box is quite sturdy. Inside we do have the deck, and also, which I haven't seen with Llewellyn before, and let me know if you have, we've got a little altar here with a Llewellyn logo, and you can place a card for daily meditation or reflection, which is quite nice. Looks something like this. Now, the cards, just remove this here, as a just standard size, very similar to my Radiant Tarot deck. In fact, almost identical. And the decks have this pattern on the back. There's no frame as such, and they do have gilding, which I would describe as sort of ashy matte gilding here. Now, if you look online, you may find that some websites will quote these cards to have silver gilding and 350 GSM cardstock. I'm not sure what the density of this paper is, but I can tell you it's not 350 GSM, and this is probably my biggest gripe with this deck, or probably the only gripe with this deck, to be honest with you, just because the packaging is beautiful, the artwork is amazing, as you will see in a few moments, and the guidebook is just so great, but for some reason they decided to chip out on the quality of cards, and it just puzzles me why they would do that. And needless to say that I would not try a riffle shuffle with this deck, because I think it will probably cause structural damage to the cards. So if you get one of these, just be mindful of that. It's been called surreal, but I think it's probably more than that. I'll give you a couple of examples. The deck adapts the artwork based on the card it displays, and sometimes it can look out of place, but in a good way. You see this flame and sometimes distorted images like this one here, but then you will also see images like this one here. And if you compare it to the first three cards I've shown you so far, it looks a little bit out of place, but totally on par with RWS meaning. And this card is based on RWS. It's quite inclusive, and I'll show you an example of that just in a second. So this is an 80 card deck, and the reason for it is that they have included 3 different variations of the Lovers card, which I quite like. And you sort of choose your own adventure. You can go either quite intense, almost brutal, this devouring between 2 lovers, or you can pick one of these. And I'm more inclined towards this one because it's on par with Empress. To me, Lovers is a happy card, probably less intense that the author put on the first version of it. And I also quite like that it's aligned with Empress, I think, in my view. Now, one thing to mention about this deck, the artwork is quite intense. And if you want to see the full deck, there's a flip through at the end of this video. I'll show you some of my favorite cards and we'll talk about the symbolism. So this is a Chariot, and you can see it's quite a departure from what you remember with the horseman riding 2 horses and making decision here. This is different here because it's almost 2 snakes, or maybe 2 dragon heads, and they kind of go in a loop here, complementing each other. It's almost like an yin-yang symbol with a horse in the middle. I like the Strength card here. If you have a look, we're departing from what you would normally see with a female figure taming a lion. Here, there's no messing around. It's pretty straightforward that we're talking about a nature of a person, right? It's someone who's taming their wild desires or urges to basically mess up the life and having total control here. And that's what you see. It's quite a lot of symbolism here where you show this unity between 2 entities. And here, one of those entities obviously a bit more passionate because it's wearing this lion mask. This is one of my favorite cards here, the Hangman, and you can see the continuity with the 7 of Cups, if I remember, and a few other cards that you've seen. This palette of greenish yellowy color with water and white often continues from one card to another one. And this is the intensity I was talking about. Look at this one here. This is a demon, or say a devil, riding a heart that is chained, and you can see it's quite a strong card here. I can totally see how this can be causing emotional distress to someone who is connected to the cards quite strongly, right? So this is very raw, and I think it's also, this deck connects with the symbolic meaning of RWS in a very direct way. But also, the artist wasn't shy of stepping into slightly different style here. Like here, it looks almost like sci-fi. The tower is collapsing here. This looks to me like this electronic motherboard or chip of some kind, and this looks almost like a robot or something very sci-fi looking. And you'll see this quite a bit, like this one here as well. We definitely moved away from this more like a demonic or maybe human figures here, and this also looks like a portal. Looks like the souls flying out of, I don't want to say if it's Earth, but it's sort of like this red cloud into something bigger, right? So showing the ascension, transformation, or maybe if you incline to believe in astral projections and other dimensions, this is definitely one of those. So while the deck puts your interpretation to a specific context, there's still room for interpretation here. It's probably my other favorite card, the World. Quite like this Shiva-looking figure from Hinduism rising above the mountains. I think it's a very good take on the World card, the completion of a cycle and someone ascending up and becoming almost goddess-like with their transformation. And Lubanko Tarot is a beautiful deck to look at. I'll give you some examples here from Minor Arcana, and if you quite often see some decks taking path of least resistance with Pipish Minor Arcana, this is not one of those cases. I think if anything, Minor Arcana here is on par or maybe even better in the expression of emotions. I think the author had more liberty here because they didn't have to stick to a familiar archetype. It's an example of Two of Cups here. There's a lot of symbolic meaning with this beautiful connection between 2 people who can see and feel each other, been connected with this telepathic almost string, or the synchronicity without seeing each other's faces. In our example, the Ten of Cups. So this is the happiness card, and it's got a completely different take here. So this would take you a little bit to translate into what it actually means. And there's a lot going on here with this. Or Eight of Wands, that's the action card. There's a lot going on here, and you can see the intensity with this smudgy sort of colors. It really depicts the emotion or anger or anguish or happiness really well. It's a really good technique to use in a deck like this. Let me show you the court cards of a Suit of Pentacles so you get an idea what that looks like. And I originally recorded the sword suit court of cards, and I realized that the images there are so dark. I decided to go with this one, and when you see a flip through, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But the Pentacles court cards look very impressive. First of all, I can see a lot of gold here, and I think that's intentional, where the swords are more blood and black colors, sort of very dark, where here you see more of, I guess, the wealth, the fertility, the foundation, the material side of things here, right? So there's a bit of a progression here, and you're not going to see any similarity with what you would normally see with these cards, right? First of all, this is inclusive deck, and that's why you see different races, different faces here, and I think it's quite refreshing to see it done in such a beautiful way. Then you also see that the Queen of Pentacles here does represent Mother Earth, very similar to RWS. King of Pentacles here looks almost like a saint, right? And the Knight of Pentacles, it also looks more like a spiritual person, maybe it also saint. It's got almost like a halo above his head, right? But I like these streaks of gold in all of them. Maybe less in the Knight of Pentacles, but the Page of Pentacles here, holding the coin. This is sort of the messenger that brings good news, potentially employment opportunities, or someone who is planning on doing learning. With King of Pentacles progressively getting into this almost not sure, saint-looking character. Like, I'm not sure exactly why this was chosen this way, because for me Pentacles are less of a spiritual suit, more of a material, but here they definitely have this aura around them. Right, let's do a test read, and I'll shuffle the cards a little bit. The shuffling is really beautiful with this deck, because the cards are just a perfect size for my hands. Also, this ashy gilding, can you call it gilding? Finish maybe? It's very useful because it helps to keep the deck in individual cards really steady in your fingers, right? It's almost stick to your fingers. So usually when I do shuffle on camera, cards tend to fall out like crazy. This one doesn't do it. I quite like it. I wouldn't do a refill shuffle with this deck. I promise I'm not going to do it, because I don't think it can be a workhorse deck unless you treat it with a great care. And I already had a few decks that I reviewed in the past that I could tell straight away, if I start doing refill shuffle, they're going to bend and they're going to look like a bow after just a couple of shuffles. So let's not do that. And I'm going to do a 3-card read on what my week looks like. We'll do a theme of a week, the challenge, and the advice on how to deal with it. I'll do intuitive reading, and we'll look at what the guidebook tells us about the read. Quite interesting. So the Four of Wands, if you remember the traditional image, this is the foundation of someone coming home or celebration, with 4 pillars and people dancing under them, or maybe 2 columns. I can't remember. My memory is a little bit vague of this one right now. Different card here. So it looks to me like a refuge. It looks to me like a home hidden under the mountain, quite safe. It looks to me a place that you come back to. This is your place where you feel grounded and safe, right? So close meaning. And it looks to me that my week will be homecoming or building foundation, or I'll be feeling grounded. Now, the challenge card. So this is the judgment card came up again, interestingly enough. So it looks like we get an opportunity for a transformation of some kind. I'm not sure exactly what that's going to look like. Potentially I'll be judged, been put on a spot, and I do have a couple of things coming up where I need to be working with our people and lead a couple of meetings. So that looks like very accurate depiction of what's going to happen. In advice here, and doing an intuitive reading here, it looks to me like a demon with horns. You will see this guy or girl a few times on the images of this deck. It sort of travels from minor arcana and major arcana. I think I've seen this. I don't know if it's the same character, but it looks similar. And it looks like this creature here does not take no for an answer. It looks like it's ready to jump in. It's got this pole in its hand, and strange enough, it's balancing between these two kind of steps or stomps. I'm not sure what that is exactly. So it seems that it's stable, but at the same time it's strange that it's standing here. So I feel like this person or character is pretty much aligned with someone who is self-assured, confident and bold, similar to the Queen of Wands. Though one thing to mention, where is the cat?
Uh-oh.
Dr. Coiting here did not approve that one. You may lose a half a point or 1 point even, but we'll see how we go about that. Let's have a look at what the guidebook is telling us, and judging by the quality of guidebook, we're going to hear interesting things from it. All right. Tucked away in the grass soft hills under a cool gray sky, the promise of a warm hearth beacons amidst gold and green grasses that move with gentle wind. I told you it looked like a safe house place. Divinatory meaning. A hearth, homemaking, the comfort and harmony of a feeling being rooted. A sense of building toward or return to that feeling, allowing that rootedness to bear fruit and be shared, to put the tendrils of warmth out so that others may find their way to that welcome. And let's look at the Queen of Wands, which I'm quite curious about myself. The Queen of Wands is a formidable figure, the magic of her staff near blinding the staff. That's the word I was looking for, not the pole. As she strides imperiously, she has a fierce independence, a lack of fear and clarity of path. So pretty much the same as RWS. She has a strange charisma about her that explains the horns, intimidating but in a way that inspires others. Bestial to some in her determination, ancient with the wisdom of making and doing that comes before, as she moves with a creative fire and drive and intensity, her cloak whipping about behind her, just like the roar of a bonfire. She will not be stopped with ease, and many find they do not wish to stop her at all. Divinatory meanings. A drive that is so strong it is magnetic and intimidating. Finding one's stride and gaining respect, taking no more responsibility, forming a powerful self, sometimes the fortification of creative force and purpose. So yeah, move bold towards challenges and the judgment that may come, or accept the changes and embrace the transformation. That's the message I'm getting here. So beautiful work. I think the guidebook did a good job with this. I think if you're a reader who likes to go deep in your readings, if you like shadow work, introspection, and you're not afraid of challenging images, this is one of the decks you should consider. I think it's one of the most unique decks that I have seen. The artwork there is stunning, and it will benefit both, I would say, beginners and RWS. The book is so well written, and the images evoke emotions and translate the meaning quite well, that even someone who's never seen RWS can grab a deck and start working with it. I think some of the limitations of this deck could be that because the imagery is so strong, it pushes you towards a particular meaning, but to be honest, I don't think it's going to be an issue because we're working with intuition here. And if we get the feeling, you can then interpret it in different ways, depending on the context, the reading. One thing I would mention, this is probably not a deck you want to use to read for others, just because how strong the images is. So I would say it's a self-development or personal divination tool. So with all of this, I'm giving the Lubanko Tarot 4 out of 5 paws on the cat mirror, and this is my thinking. It's an excellent packaging. The box, the artwork, the guidebook that it came with, the massive following just tells us that people do love this deck. So I think it ticks all the right boxes, and the only reason why I'm taking 1 point off, and it's a huge thing, is because of the cardstock quality. If it wasn't for the cardstock, I would be willing to go and give this deck a raving from me and Dr. Kotnik 5 out of 5 paws on the cat meter. Now it's over to you. What do you think of this deck? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you pick one up when the Kickstarter project was on? Then tell me about the quality of cardstock. Did you think it was better than the one we currently have, or do you think that's just something we have to get used to and accept that sometimes the cardstock may not be that great? I'm not sure about that one, but let me know in the comments below. And this is it for today. If you got something out of this, feel free to subscribe, and if you would like to support what I do, you'll find everything you need in the description. Enjoy the flip through, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.